judge our damn pay the bit my sir. Name say judge and name more damn dear, ladies and gentlemen. Let's ask ourselves the basis upon which on my 10 years and how and why those 10 years will be rubbished just like that. And yet, John Dramani Mahama bang and say, Yenyai Sedina Tamakloe. Ufa crime boneso. Na wuvia China mainwa yekun ene maame yeso onkodamui. Ni yeso onfa ne honkodi. Me kama no tumu anam yenyatwom. NDC is not bigger than Ghana. MPP is not bigger than Ghana. And as youth of Ghana, it can say if we want to build our country.
This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
John Dramani Mahama bang and say Yenyai Sedina Tamakloe. And I'm going to explain this dispassionately, justly. I'll try as much as possible to wear that cap of patriotism. Like Munimino, I am a man of truth and honesty. In fact, when baby are seven better, Mekano said it here. But let's first establish President Mahama enkantre will be a say, enkantre judge be a say, enkantre court be a say. Wonjai Sedina Tamakloe, former Maslow boss, man who hunkodi esan say on the 78th count, and akwedu beye edusun wochia ye de board no maame eni ho fo ana maame edibem. The last time I checked, President Mahama is the leader of the executive arm of government, whilst the judiciary is a separate entity. One tenure of office is saturated with Emra back when independence. Tientias here, Sebi, you refi kura you call school no, you kai separation of powers and you kai checks and balances. Once your government kura usu social studies, and you should understand that. In any case, we free justice, Bafu Boni, judiciary, we free John Dramani Mahama, executive, and free Right Honorable Speaker Bagwin, legislature. A bit of education there. So, upon that establishment, no, Anna, say me your mama said nam atunu Tamakloe. Now I feel, say, the court have not dealt with me well. And I said the foundation upon which legal proceedings were advanced against me, and Fakwa Papa Swa, I have a right to attorney and I have a right to appeal. I am not a lawyer, but certainly I don't need to be a lawyer and send me common sense. So common sense will tell you, say, Adeya Ekwe meninje ho, yan Fakwa Paso. So of course, the lawyer no ebese for appeal. And the jina swa lawyer a call for appeal. Now, the lawyer raised issues relative to foundational error. I don't know how lawyers call it. But if the charge sheets upon which prosecutions were advanced, na a be a defective, na as a lawyer met me raise to the appeal court judge, say, when na mira, ye jina so edi asem no nam so ma ye mama me no emfihiedu na upon reasoning any hwehwemu no ye hyehyemu no en tiase ne say ye ne maame na ndi ne ye nti yewra hwe saa ensemi so na ka bi mayen enti ehonum na ebia owura no so nam enti so no so ye judge na or consider foundational sheet no or what the lawyers call in their own parlance that they know. Na judge neka say enokre this were procedural error. Entino you cannot build a house until you build a foundation, and indeed the foundation in your said dan judi. It said there were foundational errors. Ye judi said dan nyina encrophobic kase any sadia judge no did this in the right direction. Lawyer no acted in good faith for the client, and so Mami said nam ationu Tamakloe and fan hunkodi. Ladies and gentlemen, on the fact to say, minkai full judgment, no, I'll be very measurable and careful in the statement I make. Nemo me me pesa ye santi ase so mine say. Ehu hia se me na no Otu Darko. Mekwa brochira nsa na mahunu se obroni ni. Ana ehu hia se ensuo to no. Mani be hunu ansa na mahunu se ensuo toy. Se ensuo to na mada. Me sode ye no. Enya hwekura me hu se efamafo. Eti I can conclude swiftly say. Oresa ne efam afo ne teteretemu a. Enya kopo ana ye se ensuo no hwe egu aduo ho. Na emum no kure mu ensuo enato. Based on that reasoning, I am saying, say, I don't need to be a lawyer largely before I can make comments on law. I don't need to be a doctor largely before I can criticize a wrong medication given by a doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, now me person me trying to say necessarily who here say my century answer ansa na mejina Facebook so akasa century. Maybe some ethical values will not be there, but say in century kasa to say na no Otu Darko no. Say me so me fa me phone na me so na me so me kasa on Facebook or TikToker. It's a form of journalism that people call a new media. Now listen, say you drew baby to set South Korea. I have talked about Asemia Mebe Kain Sama. Now I even sound like a broken record. And come here, kwese. Sa same way, makaka. And so penny for Sabasuba ne me japaye. For emphasis, we must repeat. Me say wo quote baby to say South Korea. South Korea, any major mineral. I'm talking about natural resource. To send in Nigeria wo oil. Botswana diamonds. To send in Ghana you gold. Nigeria, I beg your pardon. South Korea, any major mineral. To say most of these African nations, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, in most of these African nations, Krano, we have multiple natural resources. We have multiple mineral resources. Okay, in Ghana, for instance, we have gold, your diamond, your bauxite, your manganese, your coal, your oil, your abe, your chine, your manganese, and so forth and so on. Nigeria could also be a case study. But South Korea, they don't have any such mineral. But ladies and gentlemen, question and BBC want to say, Argentina, countries like Ghana, countries like Nigeria, I was saying and yet on the chart sheets of poor nations, we are hanging on there as poor nations or developing nations, for want of better words. Argentina and South Korea, any this major mineral resource, but the per capita income of South Korea, as we say, a lot of African nations put together. Near South Korea, one say, what talk fango in its crude form, now I refine. That is largely what South Korea is made of. Ladies and gentlemen, unya ya peso kwa Singapore, and Singapore, ya mra to the extent say what think so to from cry becho. Bisa hu say link wa you wabuama Singapore ejina brane. Edien ya no hye ye ntia. And Singapore is a first class country and Ghana is a third world network, even though Singapore are the classmates of Ghana. And then bisa hu say oko Malaysia edien pa na Abdul Tunku Rahman wabua ji Malaysia si honum eye ni ya ene Malaysia ye krabehwe na Ghana over 69 years after independence, ye very 70 years, ye gusu ewo entwetwede. The foundations no won't see no. Were there no better foundations enkroma esi na. Tie. Osi America nya independence 1776. George Washington mo abaye no betima ye bia. Kennedy mo abaye no betima ye bia. Roosevelt mo abaye no betima ye bia. Bush Papa, Bush and Kasa, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. They have been successive leaders that have taken over the reins of America. See, America is still America and a superpower. Esan say, America edgy wamumredi. America and making sure that the justice system of America, because when there is bad justice system, it does not boost investor confidence. These examples that I am giving, they are plethora. Ubetimanya baby bebre. I say examples here me may ubetimi enyabi. What I am driving at is say the difference between sa amame amabobosui, say aye America, say aye South Korea, TME, and lately China, the Asian tigers like China, say aye Vladimir Putin's Russia, and I say aye Kim North Korea. This countries here amabobosui, yeah. The difference between those countries and the countries in Africa, especially Ghana, Nigeria, Botswana, and so forth and so on, they have different ways of dispensing the spirit of justice. That is number one. And number two, those countries are countries, they don't joke with corrupt practices, they eschew corruption. Listen to me very well. So you go to Bible to say China. To the stand say, Ofa kwan bone so na wuvia China man no a yekun. And recently, one of their leaders were via China man no for 30 good years. 30 good years later, but bad years for him anyways. Yes, say there are several, if like multiple people in China. Because they have been associated with one corruption matter or the other. Ladies and gentlemen, former President Sarkozy of France, and Menuka say he's been incarcerated. Esan say, "Wofa kwan body so any France and in a year." We have presidents in other parts of the world. I think Jacob Zuma, right? Minimum how his sentence went, but at the point Jacob Zuma was also found culpable or guilty by the court of South Africa, and so forth and so on. And I don't pay it, and I never it. Many NDC for Mekasa, many MP for Mekasa, many Ghana Mabunu and Ebekasa. I am not here to say Mamia Yesu Mfani Hunkudi no ye anenye, but I am a man of principle. Said Dano ayeja agrada. A man 1 year, and so just them 15 years. No, Sena no to the Akoka who has some dia. And your mammy as one could them near one fan whom could be. Me come on to Manami and Yatrum. I do not want to be a hypocrite because I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are building a nation, we are not building political parties. NDC is not bigger than Ghana, MPP is not bigger than Ghana. And as youth of Ghana, it can say if we want to build our country. And I am so happy, sir. Attorney General so about appeal. Listen, say Attorney General so about appeal because Yengura and 7 Muntino, yet me can be brief. But we are not appealing because we hate Sedina Tamakloe. Tell me, yeah. Nana Otu Darko. Me can't wait esan say me time me said the name Tamakloe. I know say me said the name Tamakloe NDC ni. Me so me NDC ni but me Ghana ni kane. Listen to me. And this is the only way, ladies and gentlemen, we can build our country. Wakwan we ba ko peso and ye betimi afaso na yetimi anwini oman. There are some people in Ghana esan wo mkro nunti ene emofragusu etiniasi suade. Ye ni sika, ye di besi classroom blocks. Esan se sika no akronphobia wia. Ye wa mafra ene, wo mde o mafu eda form, etro ehoma. Na ye bisa ho se enti nkonya ni ho, ye se sika ni ho. Esan se sika ye di beto nkonya no okwabrane wia. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have places in Ghana. Ye won nipa sa omo se nsuo wo fa na nantwie enso num nsuo no wo hono a. Sika ya de be pipe bomb ana ya de be pipes ahodo no ye nya sika ni bi ene obi wo hono mu a sensu anto a wontimi nya kua esa sika esa nke de ya dams no ya katua $12 million si ya de kwa po alugu dam ya kwa ya signboard nsuo sika no so ya wia abusua. Some of these things we don't keep quiet because ye NDC for. Some of these things we don't talk about it because ye MPP for. The vice versa must also be true. But some of these things, when they raise their ugly heads, we speak against it because we are Ghanaians. Because we are Ghanaians. Because we are Ghanaians. And maybe ye didn't come up here anymore. Ye babetini maybe. And that is why me pesa me ne Ghana for me Bruno Echo. Because say an quiet ni a me medrene. Say no kre there were foundational errors. And untina judge dispensing that kind of judgment, ladies and gentlemen, then maybe I can also say won't to me Adam 1 6 months. And it's as though say when it comes to politicians, they are always covered. But when it comes to Nyokovia Banche, Nyokovia Bodianwa, that kind of act must stop existing in our country. We must have a new paradigm, ladies and gentlemen. A new vision for our country. A vision that builds the sanctity and hope and integrity of our country. A country that is embedded in the spirit of justice, probity, and accountability. And these were the ideals that Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings stood for. The reason why, ladies and gentlemen, today I am a journalist, but I subscribe to the ideologies of NDC. Tie, yenchia suniasem. Timimi mu obi atem. Mimu obi atem. But over some of the counter, wom de ba yenwa. Not just at a point, yema mama said the name skakra so kantamanto hye no. Yenkwaje chema. I'm not saying this as a matter of fact, but of course, we are learning. Says can be one kra anko. Men come anun to because me NDC in it. No. But men can be bring so. It's answer me NDC in sunti. But no krenwa e was sense no mo de meka. And no kren say yenhwe hawa. Ye be dispense ye niema. Kwame, I think it's a Judge Bakuno Ka said, and I'm being sarcastic here. Not that me avoid the contempt. I'm only being sarcastic. The judge could not better say. I think the judge could not said nam kodem 10 years no. Wabodam. Yankwa henajunimu. Oh, Kwajo, yes. Because it means there were no absolute reasons. Not even a scintilla of reason. Judge no ejina so ka say. Sedina Tamakloe 10 years. It means that our judge no wabodam o here so within a mental agony sheet babetrain ni ahwe. Cause judge na bodam because a judge ni more damwa and ko ntimi ma said them to nu Tamakloe 10 years. Judge wabodam pe the bet my sir. Name mom say judge ni more damn dear ladies and gentlemen. Let's ask ourselves the basis upon which on my 10 years and how and why those 10 years will be rubbished just like that. Listen, time when Yama Agrada was it 15 years. Now we are here, you see Agrada in 1 year. Otu Darko betena no kamajune. It's where the mama kamajune ana. So it means judge no di kama Agrada 15 years no one no so wabodam yankwa hwenadwene mu because our judge ni mo damwa e ba ne say no timi ma Agrada 15 years. And this I'm speaking around sarcasm. I'm being sarcastic. Sabi nia ote philosophy as no better masiye. Because it takes only a mad judge and a memo be so number of years. No say mini nyina so. Ade first judges now omuma sa 15 years 10 years no. Oman call law school ni bi. Look, there are times judges will get it wrong for some reasons. Political reasons, any idea. But I doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that you have a judge because it come 15 years, not because I know your political reason. The judge may incarcerate you. But sir, when your judge was condemned 10 years, I didn't see NDC MPP. When there are not available evidences, I bet me hold you to a grip. What kind of a country are we building? I'm asking. I'm telling you. And I'm sure some of these things you are saying, you still have political gendarmes for no. Social media langasa, they will still go against you. But I don't have a problem. The issue making one assembly say. The issue making one assembly say. Yɛnhwɛ ɔkwan yɛbɛtumi afa so so that our justice system bɛtumi ayɛ ɔkwan a yɛfa so ɛyɛ noa. Like I indicated earlier, currently the 10 years has been scrapped. Say there were foundational errors. Granted said there were foundational errors, sir. Very well. It means say the first judge, now yes, Sir Jumano, acted in ill faith, he acted in error. And says Sadia, and yes, your master judges in form Woody, because they have deceived the whole of Ghana. And yes, sir. Very well. A word to a wise, to borrow the words of the vice president, is in Asin South. But I know, or Asin North, I know, sir, or mine now, yeah, you know, God will raise leaders of conscience. Leaders who will not act because of their political colors, but leaders who will act because of nationalism. Leaders who will not act of their political coloration, but leaders who act, and say, it can say, Omeno, Enyahoto. For those of you who think, hey, okay, let's live like that. For those of you among some saying, okay, let's leave it like that. Listo another puka sembi, or say time is the mightiest judge. Asemia mebeka is an opinion that I have shared, but I believe say to say bese panikuni habayno. You better send the Benyas a form. Yakwe ya nimuno. Yakwe ya nimuno. Yanfo kwa yebetimi afaso. Na oman Ghana betimi ayekrabehwe. But men kwa yese. Ase oye Ghana ni na anya politician. Oye in trouble webi. Na imo moye politician you are covered. Na see ya wuntu me kwada amui. And ye pleadima wuntu me. So omra he omeye den will be a wono akwasel won sase ko esamra boy, making it a hanging city. Wuntumi asay ansase ni nyina. Such a person wonam galamsey su akum dom ama enipa ni bi ye be wo mu a se bi nsani ho de yade ahodo ba ya ma no 20 years a ye patch wa ma no. We are not a serious country. Because MPP ni be patch wa ma MPP, NDC ni be patch wa ma NDC. We are not building a nation. I'm telling you, we are not building a nation. We should know when to draw line between partisanship and that of nationalism, governorship. That is the only way we can win the war against poverty.
No, Ukraine, so we a politician, and now we a penny biana was study the atmosphere in Ghana, and for that matter in Africa. Obedia tumpreko pese. Mabunu no yanya adwene bi se abaso nku bi abato wiase a etimi de botachi etimi fa moba politician asemba ya ose de ka no ena timamufuo ankura ordinary person so asemba a ose de ka no atoda ne etiti sika bi a yebobo ne din sa afa manyoni amanyofuo bi nsa ye hwe man na ho keka edidi sansem no achi na ekoba sese bi obi kura akochi obi aponche ye hwe se de ye bua wo no kumfo no a Africa nyina anya Ghana kwa emabuna ye wo ha ya dwene ya ye se ase omanyoni no ana openi no de obokro no a eye na emom no obi a oni bie ede esonu mu a ene yedi mumra nti me anya me wanwa say this, even though independent and private legal brainer omotimi akọ prove omu case actually appeals court now it has nothing to do with the government still no minuano mabunu ni bi adwen ya omu say eye nanu komokro no a ba kro no a itimidi botachi na so entumi emfa moba adunti na me de in as much as I belong to that category of young people no awie imade sredi ene say asema nka mesre say ye nyina ebeto yebo na ya pemu nchiremu ansa na buwa bi wo ho a yebua nana The Edikan. You will chrome one and none or ban lawyer penny and no prosecuting Crawford. Oyo ya ba obi hunu say the juma dia o die no akwa ese koku football bobi yan hihye ne konkwo hye omo bacha owura Richard Jakpa uti adansi a ode ba ye fa kwan a na ban lawyer penny pese one no kan bomu epamu atare de hye obi a enye natade
ebekọ no pepepe
nanso wo se de ko ni Jakpa de ye no a na Jakpa ni obi odo man na ojitu mu a nkie de se obi sa to force pepepepepe ko jeli no a nke obi abadwe nse wura no ade bone sa lawyer penia nsem no odi akira mami asem eko wie se wadi fo nti na lawyer fo feel say de mu bu a ye nua ye client for the empene so ye kwa appeals court na nei appeals say mo adanse ene mo nsem mo de ba de kire say ye odi asem no kane no wandi ni yi a nana bigidi se bi ahohene nti ni gya mowre ekuro mu anom no you knew say days like say court be ruling that's a ruling no anko obi square na hu be yin so onya biaye foforo de nasem ko nti ye de appeals court no ye den ebaye hwe ena no owura bi e fre no asante ajekum 2025 ya ena na lawyer vote be prove wo court say 2002 asem wa de to no so say oni atayi na na egbokro no wo krom ha enye no kure wo dam 25 years 23 years na go twa 35
eyi kura Gregory
Afoko no nyina because me ka obi anu oda fiase afi na appeal Gregory Afoko no nyina enti enye de edikan ni obi akwa fiase a appeal asa akwa asem no say based on adansi how the buy no e say adansi e say media as a politician and as someone who believes in the President Mahama's vision, no, say idea buy na ya ka make say we a wrong timing.
President.
So what just me chire mu say idea nka ban fam mampani fam ne ya o to mi so obey kura ka make just mampani man nya because wrong.
Why do you say a wrong timing?
Because why? Say mampani what to mi so obey jama mi a to say the kind of presidential party. I don't know also Jano Abra, ye di ora no igusu a adwuma. The time I will pursue recover loot no, enye mra uko jai obi a. Adanse also wadi bone pe. But enye mampani na ye na adanse bia so ni wo say. Sabe Court of Appeal no mampani botom ne se. Independent institutions as far as governing of this country is of concern. She said, "Yeah, no, you man penny that and now don't go for the go pay BBC no." I am responsible for the executive. I'm not responsible in jailing people. That is the job of the legislature. I don't know that you person they ask me very young.
What legislature?
Sorry, judiciary. Yeah. I don't know that if you be so mubua the be man penny mama.
I know the man penny as emfa.
We understand you know what trash here ya man yosem. Na obi anu he mu akura wo nyina mu ye nua no MPP fo. Ba uzo omodi omo fake ayi bi akotwere. Mahama flee to Jamaica after freeing Sedina Tamakloe. Now so na mu ni gidie say appeals wo to me say bibi anko yi a obetime overturn. Why do you then file appeal in the appeals court on behalf of Udumi? Why do you file appeal?
Good question.
What is the essence? Eti betsra dwebre. Na nanom ne atiefu a yetie yen. Bibia ni hu a asia mampani mama say wa danse na mra atitire obi na osu wonu na oja no. Eye obi na yedi na sem ana wose ne bonyo so ana ode akwa pi and appeal here when you say, as seven o'clock said, the deed no near dancing, and they said, the Boadu no. Necessary Boadu, sir, and appeal. I try Jenny Pano. A ban penny, since I ban yan to us, what do it is the onus still lie on the current Attorney General. So you're interested. Say, I say, me a or mine ready for. It's a saying, yeah, I buy no na, mamma na, your friends say, wedding kunimu, or mine no ready for. At the appeals.
The Republic versus.
It's the Republic versus Sedina. And the Attorney General, what to say, I say, we are say, also make appeal. No, so what church the NTA was say, mamma said the name no, or to be found hundi. Then you know, and Marabuasem, and then you know, Chocobua, the judiciary as an institution.
But Hanum, you might be now so. Well, you say your politics are not a problem, but you see, NDC were by more. How much tell mind though? Because can you imagine, say, Nana Kufuor na Bamia, a president. Na wound to me, you say, ye jano.
Aye.
Na, I go for them say, make quite happy.
Aye, make quite happy. Means say,
NDC were power. Said the number two, you be a Mahama, a man, a dreamer as Maslog boss, or your NDC in Mapa. Now say, ye jano based on Senator Kaya, maybe a defect of
exactly.
And yet, Attorney General said, Maminko appealianza. Ghana for should know, say, the party to be with the NDC because NDC join Ghana.
Yes, I said you are not dancing anymore. As some chrono travel fire dancing. Way down the perfect, sir. A ban catastrofe pro and cancaya.
NDC does not control.
NDC Mahama. Ne corner or you move him pim as you do. Also so on person feature. And nobody should equate. Equate. Mami win when you were peace court to the fight against corruption. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. Eti Jidiania Reshenwa woman penny mamma say, not paying so. Obama Katas pro any cancan I a tin of the person. My massagidian tosini. My Gidiamu him. Yes, so Sagidian to trade. Your money chidom, that means say Tibiano or the bedroom boss assassin. So that's said the Attorney General Kayano. Or for senior, you're never seen who say, I buy out this way. It's a bill, your corner say, and parampara bandada no crofasa and Kutabune, say, and hemra, and what the Mamina and Nimpinifo, a baby, uno, uncle ya. Nina no, that's a mamma sono. Wafa the trade dim na just said the nipa kato no so no said the trade na kra no me enfanto so na mu mane eden mane no so afa no ho adi na obi ati ase say the system is not there to crucify see e ka say yesusu say why anti why the why nso na system no me ehunu you say e no so chese so ya manyo ni anti no ye jao. I intentionally brought in the issue of Asante Ajekum because Asante Ajekum no onye MP. Asante Ajekum no onye minister. Asante Ajekum no onye parliamentary candidate. No onye former CEO. Asante Ajekum was an ordinary person. Mistakenly, ye ka say no one can tie you. If we are say amrabe hunu say no one can hono. Mra no ja no. So the law is the law and is the law. Ne enka osaje fu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah tiasia. Enka the MP any minister of lands.
Yes, and can the MP minister of lands.
Just think about it. Just think about it. One, the president of the day. Ne papa ne osaje fu legacy. And Vaco. Two, the minister of the sector of the day. Nka president that are not and can MP no. Would these two people be the people to sell a legacy of a person they so much hold in high esteem? Would they no?
Oh, I mean no.
And when I hear say, Mampeni mama ton Vaco. Ura ma ko fi bo apese aton Vaco. I'm
told they are workers.
I shall see, I know you're still workers union. Now, when you say you practice a very participatory democracy, and even when we say, in principle, the majority will have their way, no, you must also give avenue for the minority to have their say. And consultative there. Now we are dancing. one of the ministers what being up not to was say Baba is Minister of Lands.
Very affable man.
We have met the leadership of the workers union. While church the moon near say yanton vacuum when is ready hununi. The scene. Oh sorry, net the news no be quiet interview, no be a demonstration. To the extent say none of demonstration because so you say a bimu say ya ton vacuum at the Amaura Ibrahim Mahama. Deliberate attempt to misinform and create public hatred for the man Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. Ne boni nyina ne sedi nua ye mampani. Nti asem bia kwa wu a yemfa yema asem no kwa kra papa no ansa. Nana se nipa besem no animu fifira abobra duru ba bia Ibrahim Mahama duru no. It's not a joke.
It's not a capital joke.
It's not a joke. Enti se wo hia obi na ono pese ono kwadu fudi penti parochial interest binti opese or the 1 minute 1 second 1 statement and destroy everything a man has built with all his strength, his blood, all his life for. Na ayare husem. And as a spokesperson, Kasama for the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, we Missini Trodo and yet Trodo fa and Yasama one quantana, Asama quantum pomba pese. 1. Yanton Vaco, Nianton Vaco Suta. 2. You know, Ibrahim Mahama ni Vaco ton si say be asembia obi aka fa papa no. Eya hurudu, hurada sem, eya otan hunu, yanto time nipa. Ebi muntimi obu ho no so sana nyame abono.
Kwadon kroma fatu o man.
Sana nyame abono, wo ye den a ni nu ekosora.
Say yanton Vaco. Ana obia wo ka say ye to ma Ibrahim Mahama so eya hurudu hurada sem.
Eya hurudu hurada sem.
Fatu ho man.
No kura bia nim. Na mo die ne ye with Vaco. Now what you say me no say. Vaco has the capacity of running 500 cells.
I actually boom mine.
Cells so basically one more video one they produce near ma smelting. When they produce near ma yet to be muto de akoye wire ni ade. 500 na we say ye adwuma. Me no say 92 penny ye adwuma.
Out of 500
92.
And Chroma time how many say Juma?
That was a vision. 500 must run.
1960s. 500. 2026. 92.
Basa.
Are we serious?
Nana mene wo ka say Valco energy debt nkwanye $250 million. So I know be catch am say last 2020 March 2025 we made a profit of $3 million. What they cut $250 million. Okay, I say legacy debt 20 years ago. 20 years ago, staff will be new I found 20 years ago.
3 million no kurampo no be ko muna.
Staff will be new Valco oje adwuma 20 years ago ni. It's exactly why should we watch on an institution that produce yet the things that it needs to produce, you know, we are near with the ordinary citizens so ni ajiji taxpayers money ni asade ekotua
eti de na de mentimi ho asena ba
aban say opeso revamp no na say ni so de hunu no ebam ye modernizing fidie ni bebiri ayedada 1950 fidie na wiase ba bia ni ho yesu bi ni ma ni bebiri o ho a ne kane akro makoto no sanse sales ni nya adwuma ntino wato ade no mfaso maso ya say wakoto mrek na undimi yusu ni na uni fridge. The aka say. But what I say? It doesn't matter a Jumadia workers and they are not able to get the output that they are supposed to get. Because Nana say what we what to come no. And I'm assuming you so to Bedford. Then yellow duko sino. Me say me dem ye Jumadini. Me so that much for no akosala was echo. Me nya load jaw. Ubaba 7. Ubaba besan me ho teacher man te no ma say si ho. Me no wan be productive. Eti Valco gina ho sisi ya no. Say enye suro ni yesuro kura ke be ka say o yare for say de no ko ICU.
A white elephant.
Or what did I?
Ho.
You're running on less than quarter.
Oh,
Empty.
Vaco is not in ICU.
But you see,
You are supposed to run 500 cells. You are running on less than quarter.
Vaco position say actually name
The only your catch in Shasieno. The reason why US for be see Akosomu down was benched on Valco.
exactly.
Anyway.
Empty vision in the say, how can we modernize it? Turn around things. Valco enya no plant ya energy. Edru you see one plant dedicated for Valco and its production. Our source of power.
But we need
By IPPs na dey brand no only dedicated they say 250 o metima so that about
IPP because IPPs decided say MLB mo said that's your end. Vaco and kasa we need sa we need be.
and it's not a joke and that generator that turn about no. You must decide to see akofa car power ba because the power Valco needs no enya nkitenkete a generator wo kru man
say a committee say the sir type neighbor say car power summary whatever. No, eba power vacuum kwa na yitimi restore the 500 cells. Do you know the impact you will get?
That's the point we are making.
And a lot
But
more
that
will be,
investment
a lot more will be employed.
That investment is not 2 million, 3 million. That investment is 10 million.
Metima boamu.
What you want say? What do you say? What do you say? On my money in Agua, we are undergoing a certain recovery.
Me the me man, oh mama man there.
But what? Already energy, finance minister idea will to be boy. Wait me because all more Ghana to some machines. I could build a plant. I could say, eti cabinet at Nasia Hedin of Sidabi. Minister, you approve your amount to me. Only with team in our court and find solution to Valco. Already in Crofobia crowd the proposals about Munhim. It's not close. Munhim Ukrano, if there's better alternative coming from outside, Munjina, not the best arrangement, discussions, negotiation about Boa my Ghana and Monfambra back to cabinet. Obi sorry, hey, Yaton Valco.
Normal.
So cabinet has given approval by empowering the minister and his team at Valco and the ministry to find a strategic partner. I will bet me push in the revenue, the capital that we need, the injection. If I say any Mr. Okansi, and any Mr. Okansi na. Deal, Papa. Mr. Okansi is ready to push maybe $600 to $700 million straight from extraction to transfer to processing of smelter to adding of value and all of that. Mr. Okansi said, "Ajuma na me di msika be shemu no. Me pese e di nhihye ebi to ebi and the next 20 years, the next 10 years, the next 5 years. Sika bi e be me chefa and say that is how I want to recoup it."
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you are selling it now. How did we come by getting Terminal 3? Was it not the same arrangement? How did we come by getting MPS at the port? Was it not the same arrangement? Nice and Crophobia are so comfortable in their circle. Because if at 90 cells, workers say, oh, 800, I imagine 500 cells running here, workers say,
that is huge. But is it not also because AB and maybe to say there will be downsizing?
How can Adia Nantedo ye downsizing ye? Yeah, wow, Pejako 500, how can that cause downsizing? Then I understand and then I can the practicality of it too.
Yes, idea. Will be
because even in the midst, because even in the midst of all these challenges, there has not been a single man to say any more identity there will not be paycheck.
Now I am so very calm. I mean, that arrangement na here can obi na to own it locally no. Ye mafia group among pennies o. Debi enwiri ngunu among ton. Enti ono na gi no de be kan we no. Na then am share so one that man arrangement no. Ebi mo say e be workers need di. But one e need di.
No,
Minister of Lands and Natural Resources buyout because say a single soul will be sacked.
In fact, more people have even gained.
Oh, there's a cartel. Bibi the Hamin say there's a cartel for about 5, 6 to 10 years. For about 5 to 6 to 10 years, we about this local ownership. On say I didn't even tell me all the party experts no. Don't do about say FDI, foreign direct investment. So investment we know. They never think about the local direct investment.
No, but what is FDI? It's the kind of free one ever. Anna Hanos was yes.
Kwame, the human ever. Letters of credit. Now, my Bejama, the same person I'm open as no. Engineers and planners, no, I bet two.
Sometimes we will cry $100 million.
We've seen a lot of it.
Obano Besha nothing guys, I shall say.
Yeah, the catcher say Aqua Vitran run. I'm over take PPP at the water sector. I'm mobile. Okay. And the same formula and on the board PDS. Management sector for BIM. I'm off one CD Ama. Okay. Is he can also ashegu?
Eti Nana Tofa Bomuno.
One.
Vacu is not for sale. 2. It's a bright mama. Adi ayenton obito. We are not selling. 3. Work can be a working environment via their code of conduct. Put me preoccupation sorry free Accra media. I'm kind of open. I bring you no credit. Now tell us so that you are able to know. The minister have charged management. Say, Obibia work can be or work never be. Now I can't the name. They should trigger the disciplinary procedures of the company. Minister was not even supposed to.
There's even a law against disinformation.
Minister was not even.
It's been passed.
I don't know if people can say, Minister, were you even supposed to be the one to tell the management?
No, even as a staff, no, you have a commitment to organization who only with channels of complaint. Some misinformation is being disinformation is being I think we should set the records clear. The said in our case, no, Obi anti say a chassis Abrebi, and it was persecuted by the previous administration under the arm of the then AG. And the prosecutors are state prosecutors on the assembly ekoto no soma court ejeje asem in absentia. Na same documents na ye de call ya on the bu na ten no sa case no bibi ekodu ye no bibia ehunu no eno na aban we eba no because government is a continuum no AG we eso ye dey e de ye adwuma e ma ye frɛ Sedina fi abontene omde ne ba ebe gina kru yi mu se ombra number 7 because ebu na time no okoda mu no ono ane ne lawyers and omo call appeal which is a right say ono so na kwenya sa constitution emano ono betimi akwa frɛ asem no say yene ndi ne yie nti yehwe mu ma no nti AG ene ne prosecutors no so ebe wo ho say omo be gina ma aban na aban we no edi said na be chire no edi be hye mu no ye from court wa ene che say na said na eso say yene ndi ne yie nti appeals court be asem di bia no be bia o hwe na ya niwa ndi ne ya bo akofra asem ni biom say onti ase na yenhwe mu ma wo no ye de ne call ye no ajeagefo mpefo mo te ho no ese emum ensema ye hwe so edi bu na ten no omo hwe mu pa kire say emu enye duru a kire say edi tu efiase na ne ya me de ene say yama mra na aye edwuma abedu mpempen so we na akwanya so wo ho ema attorney general current one no ama ono so betima akofre asem no ewo a higher court ya ewo soro kakra asem di bia ne ewo soro pa esi soro kra ama Ghana de no a Supreme Court no ono so betimi akwa ka say ne ajeji for na aka no ono so osene say yenhwe mu biom ene appeal nti yanko yenim no niama mehwe say ebe koso no say ma hu say ya attorney general ogine ma aban no ono ama instruction say the officers no prosecutors no enko file appeal no mo so enko free is assembly assembly biom nti sa move na wa taking first one no a good move na me hwe nim say ebeba ne say me hwe nim say chief justice be empanel ono so be ma ajeji form pay for a omudi mu emra no mu nsem no mu akotene pa no who da me for pa nkotena ase na omoso at the Supreme Court no no mo hwe assembly mu se a age no e dia akono na enko the final one ebe me ene wo ye CSO for no media and CSO any citizens no we will keep our eagle eye open ye de ni be die chire na nsem no si amachereche mu fidi bebia efiba krata ye di bu na ten no ene sa bebia ye bu na ten ni ya fiase na so koda no aban we ne obaaye na okotwe ne baaye no odi na go hye fiase ena abayo no ne lawyer for no omoso akokoto akoka se o sa case nsi edi no omo nti ase ena appeals court say aban huma na ye ho adwuma no me say emunye drupa ebetimi ama ye de na to fiase wo mo anka se onye bone bia Ghana ni bia ntie omo kire se huma na ne nkrata na egu prono so no omo hwe so a emunye drupa ebe ma sa efiase na edina kwoto no ebe koso nti sesi a no aban kachi pen odi mramu se mayere eji no ono so wo ho ekwan na wa activate dada maybe ya me hu sister media line ni bi so say wa my instruction say that prosecutors no enko for appeal enti once that is done no ye hwe ye de ni be die kire ahwe say e de na appeal no eba akosi o Supreme Court na eji edeko ide naka Chief Justice so yenim edwuma pa oye na ye hwe de ono so ebe ya aka ho na third one eye bibia ebe hu say Supreme Court na tena asem no so na me ni wo ni edi ekiri ahwe se ebe pie mo ba na me wa hwehye mbim say yanko wie ekiri no prosecutors no state prosecutors ene eji de emu edupa beden back o techi esa say all ni nsem ya almost start nsem yi ye de omo de bi mu ko e ma ye de dan nsem eko bebi na omo sa edi ekiri e ma ya bedu bibia edui nti mi gidi pa say sa se omo handle the first cases a omo win o court no sa na omo so akwanya e de appeal we ba ko ye adwuma ama justice akwa obia. And for me, that's what I'm looking out for, and I looked at with very keen interest. Now, over the tenure of officer, you remember on my paying now on akunyano so no. Yeah, me say
and about say instead of 40 years, no, we see a debate 5 years.
Which one?
Was it with the 40 years? And what to me stand for?
Oh yeah, yes. Age na ye didi akunyano say beka say. Na se ohwe ya ye fie ntem ohene ya di kra no Ghana ha no obi wa odi 15 17 na ye chi omo no omo di ahindi no omo disappoint ye ebi mu edi ahindi ni ye ba Ghana nkratam na ka se odi 40 years na sana why then wa approach say o pese ye ma president omo yi so about 35 na ye me say sa ni ame ohwe mu pa ade bi a enye wawa esa say Ghana ha esida President Rollins eba first school no di 31 years. I stand to be corrected, but that's what they, as young as he was, no, he didn't disappoint. Or no crowd taking over, no. He was rather than military personnel taking over or some handing over Emma civilian government. And this young man or no obetna so one can say o metna so cry forever. Or can say o mumbeto aba movie na me dia mani pa no and so efe. And now here even democracy cells no more France omo president Macron. Na o Macron on di 40 and o be di ade nti ade bi a me de say ye be ma young ones na akwenya but ma me ntem na me fa we nka won say me gidi say ye ma ya akwenya na ma ye ngu ye ni mu ase e say me de ma no ko tu mu e ma early appointments bi mu and so ye ko ye ni mi no they didn't impress me. Until I'm mama careful about early appointments. I say, Debbie. Abanda that me share obi to say the former AG. Time I am na nkofo bebre say or too young na inexperienced with me.
enti abra me hu say ye did tips about say Fred Japanese aniama no.
You were disappointed.
Then my friends were saying, oh, here you are. Oh, aniama we can. There be about the brave. We did say 60, 65, 70 on years same way. I was against it, but I couldn't talk. Until aniama we and the next one the tenure in office bra obedi ewa kunya no so no. Me say from 4 to 5 years no. Me obia I belong to the school of thought about the strong institutions. Say yeshe eniama ye say nipa ne be di 3 years o di 2 years o si 5 years o me hwe say niama ne esisi o yi na institutions no ewo niama eso mo ye na ye di so yi a kan no affect it.
Say will be given 10 years if the institutions are weak.
God bless you my brother. After 8 years no. One the number of corruption cases I can hear. One each aban so keke from 123 ministers to 60. You can the more the years didn't change anything. Don't go into forest. I could be no care be no. You try any no. Now you could pass LI 2462 more. And it's actually the institutions and the right thinking people are you didn't be sure. Now say oh we are na one go find you no go for be a on be dimra no so e na onya president or no betimi aba abont na beka say answer na the committee comes out the president can say agonta man ni enye bibia eni bi na wo pa na enti sa bre na obedi no me madwin stronger institutions than say but once it's a discussion no 5 years 1 year to add no enye me wan me CS for yi discussions no I was indifferent na me gina finfin but ye de kan wa ehame ye de kan ho yi ye making sure say A4 say A5 or A6 and here ye de be kan no it should come with the respect to the institution and the constitution say ye be ni
beyond institutional framework essay choni okay moving with the principles of good governance and democracy.
Yes sir.
Opa Makwame Kwachime president man 20 years. Without a national agenda policy plan, we are a joke.
Thank you.
In the next 20 years, Ghana, education, what is the plan for the next 20 years? Health, what do we want to do? How many factories may be building in the next 20 years? So Nkrumah did a 7 years development plan. Yangfa Malaysia 4-5. Today they are developed. Gordisbeck and Yasikulebu when still Gordisbeck Sikulebu, it is still the premier and the biggest hospital in Ghana. But it fell because there was a 9 years development plan. In fact, all serious countries work because there's a national agenda plan. President Mahama won a 40 years development planner. Nimoy Thompson.
Yeah.
And still Nimoy Thompson negotiated National Development Plan Commission.
Wasamba.
Nana Kufuor by one fine Juma. But President Mahama is back. And if you ask me, I think say the foundation is a national agenda policy plan.
True.
So plan we hold you say every year be you see factories 10 years. Say 2 years now the Mahama as president. Me see 20 na meko.
True.
But the plan be anyhow. Now mama 50 years near ya me manifesto promise now any Ghana and can here no. That is what I'll do, but the country doesn't need.
Na oba cheche nkama etiefo ati ase yi crap no. Se ke se okay, ne opa kire se Ghana ye drum back no ye se nsu egum a. Ye se sa drum we ye se nsu egum. Line le what drum no wo fi ho no. That de line le wo. Ye be hwe ahe a baby edu so no. Nsu ahe na obugu.
Ne dia mesha wo. Onto se drum ne be ma.
Sa.
Na we di gu ha.
And then I have a problem. No, now Musidia and discusses that thing about the National Development Plan. Say the National Development Planning Commission. No, ye politician for no much that part no more year or more sin change.
Yes.
And I almost edo manifest to mune ebu mine. Na second National Development Plan documents na wo. Na second at least they cry 10 years. Now after every 5 years no, they review into. Who review now they assign the second one. Budget.
So what that plan will seek to do near until they are Ghana 20 years development plan.
Yes.
So in this case, you can say Aja to me say is a presidential term year 5 years.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure it will affect parliamentary terms as well. And 20 years na it means we are going to have 4 regimes. Is that right?
Sir.
So we are going to have
4 regimes in that 20 years.
We are going to have 4
plan.
regimes. Political party also will still keep the manifesto. Right. But your manifesto is going to tell us how you implement the national policy plan.
True.
Abani said, when it comes to factories, you basic 20. Let your manifesto tell me how basic 20. No?
Yeah. Now we are. So maybe the national one and I'm the market. And national development plan maybe that
check judge, no.
Sir. And no nebe sa we nebe so there
every year BSC factories 5.
Yeah.
Ultimate see 2.
Yeah.
Obisu see 3. Then certainly I see a 3 no opportunity because Oba will see 2.
Yeah.
But when I make out answer. Entina na kufa do see agenda 111 be repeating. A good idea. But look, there were some places called hospital be hono was because it was the plan. And that is why yes, be and yet yentimi even a single one.
Yeah.
Now 50% of all those projects, they are underdeveloped. Until NDC will come and do this, and people NDC will come also a 24-hour, and people will come also a free this one will come. No.
But only see our cano. Say can you me any adopt this document now. One thing I'm notice a dinner yes sano. Once a year adebia. We be so more almost the same thing no you no as what no din fifo and also one ne hoka but we dey hwe say usi school na ye be ya free SHS no na constitution and obi si ono de osha obeye school adan na nkura no be ko mu no na mom sika seminti no me pese me boa akura na ne papa ho akire ne mama ho akire no and so amano ne nyina no ye makura na akwenya na onfa betina akonya so enfa in the book into there so no onhua blackboard so ye pon anon go fi ngo didi America o UK sa no mo ye no enti ono se sa dia obese osu omo de ndi obe e-blocks na ka oba day a uwie school na no akofi ba pon no akofi anka ye nko nanim kra na o se odi bi beka wana 1 mil wa ba school nkwa de
abrochenya de
we mbege ka enti na ka wanya bi kaka de aka wano and so be kobra say they be open boarding so the account and it is very expensive. Me no nya eco school no bo say yes school fees as boarders no na e mo twe krache and day students for no omo de no feeding ni nkwa na ne boarding sa no boarding facility bed fumigations and am nyina e wo boarding facility ni nti sa ka no ukofa pe no akofa ka kese nti when you have a national development plan that advises on what to do it will state every other thing you want to do and you follow it to the dream until at the end of the day no back the run sky.
I think so.
So all the strong institutions this you now you firm up the rules even if Satan ever take you over until that down it's as I say working in 5 years so nipa ne ye no say the actual no fa nye adwuma we in 7 years kra ye nkoye nim ba say krata no wo ho na kata ne hye no say on this one.
I think say as a country we should get a bit more serious as a grow here because I don't understand why I say yeah omaya yiniska na ye be send me for free na ya mo bi also your contractor na de so ya kwan or your kwan no 5 years tutu nobody talks about it be a joke say ye dishe mu say e kwan na wo ye no e be di how many years was ye be di 10 wa hu yo ya te sign and the 10 years Omani Mara should deal with you.
Yeah, but the provisions are there for the quality of those things.
And they are then.
Maybe, sir.
And what is the actual contract to be at Tumda?
The mate say contract to be a year in a Juma and in less than a year, no. Or buy and obey resurfacing. But say me who say, ya hearing say. David we the one in
oh man
David
and President Mahama pampo no system niema enti President Mahama de Bibi ameka say dan me pa cho say besre no ma onye te se Kufuado enko position man realm I can tell you for free say by na Kufuado ne rap because there are things we nyaya nkobe but it's too late
very
this is President Mahama itiemia awurade de ne by for a reason 2/3 majority ye nya ne kwa what neighbor say ombebubu onjuri no onsi eti bibi obetimi asesa no using the current parliament any the 1.7 million votes reposition of confidence ya diamano no so wanya obedia in opposition
he has no excuse
he has no excuse to fail.
No excuse.
And right now President Mahama actually say obetimi aye na mum bibi obetimi asesa no
what do you say nyame shira no two e won the opposition days ono no otimi split aba 137 that's the first gift the
Mahama so ampo see that.
Yeah, no that you see bought the name John Dramani Mahama na in politics in Ghana, he's the most blessed politician. The most blessed. Baby Ofi Eba Assemblyman, Ebedi MP, Ede Banyinano. He's a story. It's a whole storyline. And a baby Osan Koy Osan Bayano. It comes in for a correction. How deep we went down. Ne obitimi hwe petrol price ga je me say yakodu 16 15 say 16 so debi hwe na kai say from 2022 to 2024 alone as analyst ADH no it means your prices high here and so follow sa high na by this time ke do best 30 nti who follow trends na the only thing I hear children and say niaman kitin bi ankofo saboteurs no bi mu a ombetimi aye e no homo ye nso say your boss is PM transport owner be say or no drive car or no the price no go say obeko rent obi balloon nti why forex ni am nyina yakoyie no obi timi retard progress nyina any the rent nko ode ye den edeji and the fact also up 2 years advance when dem obi 6 months salary wo kuma as obi say oje 2 years advance graduate we school fresh or hand down you see 1 year and the hun mo bokra no say yankoye dey 2 years advance okofa ne nti sa niama we nu so system checks are yan ye ne yi a ebe ha
Mr. Geoffrey here reforms say
yeah strict ones
obi hold more na and we na make say you go to places my friend be at form because you see ska ya de beton kunya ni ho but you have akromfo a omawia they call some of them are civil servants or public servants even so politicians near there na omawia ska na you are Cronfo no negotiate you say a play bag ubi to saying or see me to Cronfo negotiating with a thief but obi ko wia bancha we will not negotiate with him so onko to bancha the machine very well enti ese timia reforms to the extent say over abemu no say your mra say obi declare
assets asset declaration
enti kwa ache ya appointing the minister or say or dime back or cars back car back or train or ship or aeroplane okay ya tro na no krampo na esi yemiem another nonsense of a law
that's it
so nipa ko na tro wumiem na wumiem a ene onipa ko ba koye krono ne ma hyem obi anu akwakoje because bi na damfo ne auditor general na wase atwura hyem di ama no wumiem sen enti no kwame kwache tro ne ma no nyina wo mu a na sabi kwame kwache kofa omanizika you should not only take the money you must take the money with interest afei eniema no a obenya wo aban mu no you confiscate all to the state then eniema wo ma aban mu kra na owo no you take all in the name of the terrorists
asotwe no ese mu do na ema omo mu gina nchen no
yes
no mu say ade we yenye
ana ye kase bia
who said that boy aba unya no ye ade bone no that boy na aba ni wi no de aba na kire wo so also
to be careful
wo so we
teacher baba wi a o kasa ho say wo abai sa no to serve as deterrents adentina ye nwia ne ma o China they will kill you
say wo munim adentina UAE na in the year 2018 no na Ghana books mu no na go dey fi akọ UAE no na ye actually 2 billion UAE books mu no na go dey fi Ghana almost about omo man mu 7 billion.
Such a disparity.
Yes, it's just 5 billion worth of good and co books mu aso akọ books mu ho now the fame mu ha no onim say ade obetimi ade afem and to koduru ha or try so be pe e be yin tie fi so the honey there or the fame ha odu anu ebu contact pe
I think we joke around things and she share no more strong
but it takes commitment of the leader and the institutions say o we say in your paying gina kwan so e say contractors bi a wa mo 60 million 80 million o mo nche eduma se no yes we say no hit na o de akoshe mo no and e ma utiminya sa arehim bi say yen wi betinati nsu say obi e sha ase no wen wi de bi e say ogina o so so no anim say se wan gina omoso a ahwa time no ebre no ebetwe mu no na edwuma na ya no ye ma na edwuma du a wa ebe sense apɛ na akɔpɛ bi atena ɛna no nso na nkɔfo LPP enua pen atufo sin ye wo wɔ neti kɔ sɛ he's not spending sa nkɔfo no nyinaa no wɔn nim de ɔmo hwɛ but no so say no that commitment authorization de obeye so hwem wo so wo kyerɛ de all this kind be ye no no aba abekyerɛ sɛ we ni no wɔyɛ ade no ɔhwɛ huma no mu nya wi a ansana o yi sika no de ama enye saa ya hwɛ ni yi a isika no e ba akɔ sky train and e ba akɔ Palugu Dam $11 million na adwirigu $2 million sɛ mate sɛ $2 million sky train no e dalis so a eno so e be pim saa operation recover loot na eto nkofo asum no President Mahama nkai say enu so mankofo nya wodin pa eto aba no ma no. So some of these cases no me entina say Sedina case no me di meni edi echire I followed to see say a dem pot in ewom na me hu bre o mo hye ase and de o mo de akogu no judge for no nkan say o mo mpe assembly di o mo say ne ayede aba no accusations no back and forth no mu nye duru ai be mo e de na akoto fiase nti say e age no so see our call quick appeal no you follow na make sure say assembly
him say your corner say indeed there were foundational defects legal foundational defects na ye ma me fan hon kodi it's the same as obi say won to me you have access to a right to appeal corner you now because then me I don't believe say obi any part in here into no I don't believe in that because we are sponsor na on so ahwe there but me dey say me yenye niema memo will be every or their justice system no e be free true because me I believe in one thing we are building a country we are not building political parties and NMB honma
well who say political parties me no omukasa no ya na metwe me ho ntem e be gina say sie so na me hwe mu a the facts na omo kan de bia no o hwe law no mu a law no so wo de ono so eka udi law ne de na chi otum say de ekoso ni nyina obia eka sen on say law attach aba mu no na me follow say I don't know of course say 3rd July asem no on pen science en fa nko ekiri de bi ke say judge ko so bu aten na madam follow ya bi tell say oh de bi akwenya judge ne de ama no enti no ka che ne say even before the 20th no on the 13th no fa huma e kire say de enti a obese ye de ni ama no ko echi emba betu nanim 13th for afa anko 20th no so anko court enti wo ti ekire crap a you don't need to be a lawyer or a judge to understand say see na wo say oba na wo de ne ba ahimfie we ebusuapen oba na ese a IBP wo de ba wo se yema mo break akra na unti akola na no na ndanda na ne nka ne yi na afi say on the 13th brada be hu chiame na ja wo nsem ni bi ma chiame ne ebusuapen wo ahimfie wa ma 20th na be di asem no so no ohe penyin na ngisa betina konya nim no wo so wa ma eno de ese ka fie kwa na ye ka asem ya wo so wo de onya sato a ebufu
the judge can pass verdict in absentia.
Thank you.
And then something for want of prosecution.
What ya ma ho kwan ba be you are no one be you are no. And na dey fe pa o ye mra no mu no. Krobi so o ya kera asem no to so you are guilty until you are declared not guilty. But ha no you are innocent until it is proven say you are guilty.
So you must prove in that cross say you are not guilty.
Asa.
So you are guilty. So you must prove your innocence.
Yes.
But hanam no dey
no, so we are guilty.
Innocent.
Yes.
You be prove so we are guilty.
We are guilty.
It's difficult to be.
Engineer Hanu ultimate here dey allege say na dey wi. Nipa ndin was sign and so allege. Dey allege nichi.
But bit say o dey yen hwe Obekaya former vice president.
Sir.
Oraba me akọ Ekusi sen. Guy no hosting refinity. Ana yebisa no na signature project. About any signature project. That's why our administration a signature project. I don't say one signature project back in the north party a Boadu Dam. Now Boadu Dam no crowd there on my way any idea. Now okay, yeah, sorry, so yeah, Boadu Dam. But journalists will go and find out, right? Then fast forward, Public Account Committee settled. And now it was revealed, say, Boadu Dam no yewura ba me say a signature or flagship or whatever project. You know. $12 million have been expended into that project. Journalists in Sukoya signboard cranes go. Ladies and gentlemen. And as a serious country, nobody has been arrested.
Yes.
No, $97 million. Cathedral. That money was taken from the consolidated fund. Recently, I saw Yifa Ghana for your consolidated fund kakra 350 million cedis. MPP for Bekasa Ukruma. And yet, the same consolidated fund, Yakuiska Frimu, said the Kusi Cathedral, $97 million.
Sadly.
President who boom, basing there. Jack. Which serious country would do that? Which serious country would do that?
When we are in Sema Ghana for Dodona.
Now, so Japan, will you do this nonsense?
No, now, Omom Goji Long Crown, see, I am the Rada Samanko Soja. Because down make can oh, they be back a bell or also say, who say, Potokasi, Akasi, say emotional intelligence, Ubu F. And so, Pepenso, we. Adechere nyamisuru ni nyamabina ama akawa wakoma na she oyem kakra
senior
emotional intelligence
nanka me soja pa nanka me gusu
enye soja obeye o that nkrofo I'm loving your caution because ukokro bi so na nipa chen Liberia fo dabi nipa chen Rwanda fo dabi akuma na hye na o mantimi you do baby you can't hold yourself. Untimin crowd mu say oh Charlie we dey menye ehun hia enti de bia enti na bo say e man mu impeyifo bi wo a omo wo sa no matufu say dey bi.
In fact, there's nothing good in coup d'etat. Maybe any one more in coup d'etat.
Oh no, there be say coup d'etat there be part the so I tell people I understand but I don't support some.
A truncated democracy.
Metiasie say obi bo obi asum no ono so man say so ofu no be say na
steady
adenti a ohu no no so ofu ni bi
no fire
baby a financial ye timu no ohu ya na akoka teacher
no fire
na akoka che maame na akoka free police so obi ono nti asesa ohu ni dia obi hu bi enti ukoko to kra your dear friend no self defense ohu no ba ko hu second one and ono so hu say when hu bi a Asha ubehu mi no ana miensa ka ho who best one who second one who say no offer they be oyatra intene there I think say coup d'etat no some of them no the SSS no na ya na asefim kakra but na in seminar CC no obi hu say no obi di bebre ejaye no uko kenkan ni nyina otumu say ebi muso eyema ne broso.
Okay, so live on Accra 100.5 FM. Yura Geoffrey Okanse hadum eba sikasemu ntutu ya onimde eba amamu ntutu ya onimde eba se ya kasentia ye kitahye proye dream ni kankan ya miwura yi edamufo egusu a edi nkomo yesiri mo poye ba akopɛ senior ye program ni dinti citizens show se ya beboa na Ghana fa ntoma pefra nti we ye kan se ya aya dodo no emaburu no ana ye pese aya mutie na ye come say we have a country to run. Yes, in himself we are NPP ni. Me Otu Darko me NDC ni. But beyond these parties, we have a country to run. Masade ni na utrim. Baby a yempenyufo afom no. Let's change that path. Na yemfa omai no ehyebre ensi mapomia on a good path. Se ne be ya yenso dachi nchiri mabebeka say yenya nananom nkwasiafo. Na emu yenya nananom a sorry ekojima yen. O sorry apeso ko America. Okay, 1776 we independence in Jimmy for video minus one by now. Yes, sorry about America. So let's prove our worth. Ni who say bibinin so nipa. And internet toda nanka miako say ye kasa bebre no. Suleiman Koino adjoining I see you people are doing injustice to the Sedina case itself without discussing what sent her to the prison in absentia. Oh, I think we raised issues around the 70 million cities and the 78 counts. Maybe I went here earlier. We raised issues. Emmanuel, I say, Bamianiko, they mostly go into Yoko without notice. I don't understand that. Come again. Emmanuel, please, 2020 election, JDM won hands down. It was Enimbiabua and Crooks rigged the verdict to Akufo-Addo 137. but say unavailable evidence here 137. The Lahama also the president has been slow to revive Commander Sugar Factory. The president Mahama has been slow. Now Nana Akufo-Addo about 8 years now. Was he fast? The politics say Commander President Mahama be sitting here from scratch. Akufo-Addo came 8 years. I've been born into when one casa. President Mahama about 1 year penal. Also he's been slow reviving Commander Sugar Factory.
I think for Commander they say, I mean, the effort was somebody building something. Now we see you. And he said, obey one district, one factory.
One factory.
Went to me and factory Commander. And I think say, it was very unfortunate. But we still count with hope, say, President Mahama, and in this very current, very active agric minister. Betimi Bibi Emana. My entry make a crank of alcohol because of maybe one of the voices. Yes, Galamsey, exactly. Me fa Galamsey ona. I think fight ne kofa police station chire ni ame nyina no. Station ya kan mesa kan bium. Say regsec any dissect district security committee any regional security committee, they have some answers. Say omodema the chief of staff. How see a walking na police station a few meters away na obitimi eba say oh too good it took a journalist, the laborers of the state, and amona moko bi mu ayi nsem no
Galamsey for no badwuma police for no so badwuma
and to police station there 24 hours engineer say obi abega say o GR for no point na a man got on a day or job into me tax with the police for 24 hours no say police station no ejuma nti yem say sa yem say kakra say me hu so e Galamsey ade hu ni say sa nkofo ye de tumi ahye omunsa omutimi etena sema nkofo ye sa niama we nyina no Kenya district no ye starting here some table now most job no it to come with a table nenka community after community, region after region, baby dem no ye di dem na nkofo pay for bi mu entimi so ano no and I be PM so say which means say videos bi PM na even the security agencies na say o ko ejuma ni mum they are compromised police ni bia mo chile say o be pay video ni na me say nkofo nyina say yi omudi na ema seriousness no e chile say ye ko etia we say Galamsey. But one thing
so far, are you impressed?
I am
with the work of Honorable Amaboa.
Oh, say me say your boss say police station say na who say go for 19. Inti me per say enti mo say minister no effort no beyond that or more grounds now or much nothing. So well. Sir, but you see how should it be the minister na onko? Oh, was 4 meters for aha. Na police for no hini na district security we say oh.
And I'm a assassin yes no.
Oh.
Who hini na oti kro no so no. Who assassin yes no. Yes no.
Na emo no kromfo no bi mutimi yeta so krapo yes omo kokunti akrapo a enkrofo no kra heavy we say weapons a mutimi ni ehunhura omo. Enti yenhwe na obia na hujim bia no yenkoso na amos no omo task no si etie no ye free baby ni ebo ehun say ya city excavators excavator mo enya wings etutu ye koye enti ye nka ebe kai aban we ene omkofa de tumi ahye omusa ne se mo anye ni yi a Ghana for na ya si aye bo mu nsem ye de tumi mo nka yo abato aye tu ye ensi da e of Fourth Republic yi se aban bi benya vote dudu ise ya na ye mu bi mu krapo a ye techi ye hwe no ya mfa nye fere ye mia ye ni kan ese bebi aye koidie ese esisem ansana abeyi and yesem mu nso no yedwuma nkoye kwa atoms spoke for the right voices ama ene obi ani dem say ye ni say enyo time bi ene ewo ma president and the ministers enije ayede ka say sa ene na ayede praise sa fuel management dollar we say depreciation na cost no city is appreciating sa niam anwa ne niam bi mu ebo ba fom sa niam sa voice na ene na na ye dey can say we so ka ho akwala de wanya to atare fefefe amano no wato so no na shoe no so ese shoe no so e mo no enna na akwala yesu ni esi Ghana ne hu yi okogina aman ne ntem a ono so nya akwala bi an ho ayefe enu anti na yesu bebrebe na quickly Ghana ha no e ba ne se yegudie na nyame de ehira ye no ye ni sa akwanya ne se betena nchen ne ahwe se egudie ne akwa enti we say ye be gold board no a Ghana ejituma CSOs ya fresh a chire nkofo say sa gold board ne djuma we no enko ne nim no ye mu bi mu no na ne ye hwe so ne say gold na ye tu na say Ghana for na etu Ghana gold no na ye free before indirect investment they be na obi say amanone for na first Canberra na ye betu gold no ye mu bi mu so si de bi say Ghana for ha omoso mo gold company omoso omombo omho ano na ka ban to be a Ghana Gold Company na so well listed stocks be through the Security Exchange Commission na o mal list stocks here man for yeso yakoto be dey sika akogum na aban nya ono ani gold company ni etu no na ye can say go first new mountains and Ghana for na age more labor force in Ghana for management top in Ghana for abafo mugum kakra apa enti ni a opa che say ni system ebetima manage ana na e na oka isa say di amanone no ye di Ghana for akomo makoye doctors engineers che say omanya doctorate PhD ni omo professorship e di backroom a omo mining ni mu enimdie enti unni kwan say obeka si menim say yentimi ehwe so yi ya na de bia di ehun dem na yen quickly to the Vaco case. They are me who woman say Vaco no saying ye be kaya brofo America for your mobile ya be share sa akosombo dam n'echi the whole dam am kuma brace on ye no the dam was also on more interest on the boy see dam no was about Vaco so must be nya sa voltage no e dey smelting we say no. It
was part of the plan.
It was actually what sa enti no Vaco was one of the highest consumers as at that early time no and then say yenko yenim ne ye say Vaco no na juma yen hwe ne yen jeje a 500 cells na AS melting ne maye no 92 pe na omode ya de and say
92 cells
say 100 crab po a we dey fan say me no yen hu ne ye po ne hu 100 da endu quarter
capacity of Vaco now
ade nyina say ejuma no less than quarter na ejuma in just say ejuma no say ka wo dia ka you just put it off nia hwe in every management sense pa say obi a ode ne sika ye na ejuma pa na o nikanika nan a ode ejuma na o ka say nikanika no ba ko pe na fe ejuma no enye say nan ni nya na ejuma ba ko pe na ejuma na ejuma no krapo onye 24 hour ye be say fitiano pa e babo say na yeshinti yendum na ne workers na say omo ye ejuma for nikadika na ni na eguo na oyi obi edi a kan wa kan o papa nko be say ejuma we enti sia bebe ye gina no ye fa ye ni hwe ne ye mi cheche mu e fa nikadika na obi anti ase ye say sa 4 batch we say na say 4 quarters only less than a quarter na ye ejuma enti I mean by strategic thinking no nobody will advance energy into that area and to say sadia yempe obi na onfa ne sika emebum amanone fo ne Ghana fo nyina wo sa akonya ne so mdo musika ba be shim ne dia yedwuma so me tie idea de bia me kan de bia say look at the local direct investment say obi e wo Ghana kuma no wo ne sika Ghana sika fo nyina won sa suban we ayewo ni ntina ma sika fo ne bi mu a on person de sika be ben bibi ayeye no nti no nkwa be na ejuma na emu bi mo skapudo o mukita no o se obe na ejuma na odi a obetima in fact profit ana infrastructure obi botom obetima di enu nkwa na odi wu obetima atututu ni company mu nyina ama odi ska na ko share bank no wedi enso bi mo a Ghana ho do ene nyamisuro nti na mo ye business na se obi se odi sika be ba say see out of 100% 25% less than 25% na ejuma. So there's a funding gap and operational gap of 75%. So this can or the baba na or the baba buane de aye dwuma na so e Ghana ni a. Come dey come me dwen say asempa. Say enti dia na ye bobobo. Sa Ibrahim Mahama papa we. Ya me bisa say bone be no aye nkofo. uko amanonia ubo dongote a uko Nigeria dongote ewo ho enkofo be kana asem mum de enso de bia dongote eye hwe den na dongote eye cement wa be ye bauxite ni niama dongote is actually in oil refinery as ebesi ne oil bi nti if there's a Ghanaian or ni sika not necessarily Ibrahim Mahama but then there should be a group of Ghanaian businessmen na say betimi aye mo omu alesti omudin so mo so e 75% we ebeba na abeka aban de hu na ya je nkrofo adwuma kebebo aye nti mi de enya ade bia mehwe se edin a ne ode ba se sika ne hote na ode beboa na betimi amasa gap no miensa na dawo na enye adwuma no nikadika miensa na obi di sika behim ne ayama nikadika miensa na ye adwuma abeka ba ko no a na enan ni nyina be adwuma eye adwuma Ghana fo no be nye adwuma ye ena sa product e be pie no e de be Ghana adwuma e de bi akwa amanone vaco om product bi mu no e kwa amanone nti na ke no be my foreign exchange forex ye be nya bi nti dollar ye hwe dollar yi vaco niama na om ye ndodo na aso kwa abontene nti sese ayeti hoyi adwuma ene ye hwiri gu no sika no so ne ye den ye hwiri gu no nti ma ye minim se kana na fo bi om gu ekiri no ne ye omo ya pa ye de na mene ye CSO ni bi mu ene Ghana fo a ye wo Kwame Nkrumah adwene say the black man is capable of managing his own affairs no ye can say da man ye mfa ma Ibrahim Mahama no onye adwuma me can be and I didn't look at him as a name Ibrahim Mahama. I looked at it from engineers and planners. They were quoting that man's name. My engineers and planners took it over and Ghanaian company are managing ye BAD God no so mutua in transparency spirit no the biba good board na on pay we are open there we ye nyina ka sem Ghana ni and only the next thing they be amaka how to have a Ghana gold company ama woti we mi ne ye nyina ye cry 50,000 na 10,000 100,000 ye di ko shemu ye listen or stock na ka Ghana ya na abrofo no mo ba de bia na sky no mo de ba sky no mo de ba da ma hoyi na sa na mi de na mi nim sa na engineers and planners and no ye bibia emom hono pe no magen so no otututu abo no e papa ni nyina mom enti ade na ye de amagana ni a wonti ase se ade a ye ti krom ha e magana ni abrant ye kitwa bi ajejeji ngofo ka se ode omo ye good business e metwi fa ho nti mi hu de nti a Ghana ban timi en ma Ghana fo nti ase se obebie Ghana gold company na enye fa sika mbehim ni enye bi na se sika no ni nyina nka Ghana ha
maybe we can send a proposal to them.
We have to because 30 years me who videos are ayefo aye press conference na omunim say sa na 30 years ye dwide omegu ya ma omohwe
ever proposal come lawyer Samijamfi.
And I said, first one cry, the first one, good board, I think he's very open to such discussions. Why are their party was our good board? No, the Juma party, I'm telling you. It makes a case for this age here, less than 44, no
35. No?
It makes a case for 35. No, which obit says Samijamfi, and the young ones, it makes a case.
Samijamfi. Bear president, na Katie Hammond bear president. Open the way. Katie Hammond bear president. And bear president.
Videos now we and I say me did that menfa DBA masana.
So back here penny back here bofra.
Baby I bet this man went to sell our dress shop. He's never been able to stand one day.
I said dress shop no one got on.
Only one person.
Yeah,
na me dress. Sa the day obeka asem no meni anje kra me say why I had a great deal of respect for that man obe make his statement. It was very unfortunate, very very wrong statement. We so go be saying about the leadership or say he was angry, but you see he said business government business now we no obetime issue paper 2-3 bi e dey church the mu see anema ko ye na ama bibia ye dey
obuwa no be say
enti baby aye feedback no and say one issue on my na as 2010 2008 ye hu say ye wo fan ho e me dey aba TV so aba church the Ghana for sa abrenu ma na wo goton odreship
sa abrenu na goton odreship
Ghana we no Ghana we na
2008 in a ton no 2008 the senator mo saba
2009 and bills but take office. So around 2006, 7, 8, you know. Not yeah far ba. Yeah celebrations 2006, 2007. Say far ba yeah be 2 year. Ghana news. Ghana 50 was but it was President first time. 2000 was it 2007? 2007. Yes, so 1957 to 2007.
Around that time, no more.
Ghana 50 that time no more. DC. That's that time now. You fa ngwa. Ya announce say people should know. Say we have actually discovered oil in commercial quantities. That's how brain man. Wako Angola go forward the atom.
Okay.
Most of our problems have been self-inflicted. But one thing what can I think it can last week about the National Development Plan. As citizens, member
Africa in a wheelchair.
They be member. My master's thesis it was on that same development plan and the communication around it. My look, me started a deal 10-11 years ago about Ghana companies mining our gold and then owning Ghana government and local ownership. No, go for catch me. Oh, master, me call meetings and conferences. Doctors, professors. Me can't. I'm to me yigu. Emma me reho. Oh, Jeffrey, don't know what you are saying. Me don't know what I'm saying. Abraham Musa go for no more, but they don't even bring any money. So can I say?
They don't have that.
No, they had it. Don't defend them. Let me tell you what. You are innocently defending them. I'll tell you something. It is a cartel. Industrial cartel. Even production of some of the same products, the tobacco. There are people who defend the production. Industry for no. As a researcher, funded by these mining companies. Into the paper be or better be say how they are doing patrol paper no. On also better counter. Into say me no year king. I di unko say better paper they come as am ye be say anything around minerals, gold especially. On also be Ghana 4 professors, any doctors, na say finance committee and a minerals committee e parliament. E go shema somebody documents e dia abo medjuma no. No ma mu tick document pa dia come to counter me no year no. And there are experts in the game. There are people who are actually engineers. Mining good and for academics, lectures in the industry mom support.
Kick out Ghana. Send the person.
Yes, in the you were taught to abontia mom. Into share Japan map deal now. For document national into it will be in a tax haven. If I saw near back or share hulemu. Into that omoko abontia. Amarone nipa ne ba one ne be kanana ye sawo ha na wakogine de e wa bonten